Over the past 4 weeks, I published at least one YouTube video every weekday as part of my Weekday YouTube challenge. And in this video, we're going to dive into what happened, what the analytics said about this experience, about the videos and the type of results that I got. And I'm going to share with you 11 insights, 11 lessons learned from this challenge that you can apply. I ended up publishing 22 videos. 12 of these were fireside chats like this, where I'm talking to the camera. 7 were podcast episodes. And then I had a few other formats and types: a product review video, a fictional video, a comedy video. So experimenting with some other approaches to YouTube. Challenges of any type are great campaigns that we can take to get beyond our comfort zone, to go beyond what we might do in this normal day-to-day type of activity. By doing a challenge, it pushes me further and faster. And for me, I really wanted to push myself to do more of these YouTube fireside chat videos where I'm talking to the camera. I wanted to do more podcast episodes. This was a successful challenge for me to be able to lean into both of those, do more of them, and also build a pipeline and a process to work out the kinks so that I can even do more of it after the challenge is over. So if a challenge was successful for you, for me, it has made us more effective at what we do. It's increased our abilities and it's increased our capacity to create on YouTube. I'm going to dive into the 11 lessons that I learned. I'm going to share those with you. But before I do that, I want to jump into the analytics and walk through with you what these videos did. What kind of success, particularly watch hour success, did I have by producing and publishing these videos on my journey towards YouTube monetization. As of recording this video, I have 235 YouTube subscribers. In December of 2024, just several months ago, I had 68. So I'm moving along. I'm sharing the lessons I've learned and the progress I've made along the way. So hopefully it helps inspire you or educate you on your own journey. And hopefully together we can move towards YouTube monetization. All right, I've jumped into my Airtable dashboard. We're going to start at the top level. While I only published 22 videos, I did get watch hours from videos I published before this challenge began. So I want to start at the high level, which includes all the videos that got any kind of watch hours during the challenge itself. And so you can see here that there's 103 different videos that got watch hours during the 4 weeks of this challenge. And that was between March 24th and April 18th. Some of the videos that I publish at the end of the challenge are likely to get more watch hours as time goes on. But I wanted to cut it off and do an evaluation of the 4 weeks during the challenge. You can see that during this period of time, I got 108 watch hours. So that was on average about 1 watch hour per video that got any type of watch hour time. I've broken this up into groups. You can see these 2 different pie charts. We've got fireside chat and podcast episodes. Fireside chat is this red side, and then this orange yellow side is podcast episodes. And then on the left, the total number of hours per category, and you can see that clips actually got about 4 watch hours. If we split it up by average, so the average watch hours per video within that category, we see a little bit different picture. Podcast episodes had 41%, and then fireside chat videos is 39%, and then blog readings had 7%, and then product reviews had 8%. The interesting insight here is that podcast episodes dominated this weekday challenge, a YouTube challenge here. And that was unexpected. I was expecting my YouTube specific videos to perform better. We're April 19th, and so I'm 4 months into taking YouTube seriously. And podcasting has gotten a huge advantage here. So I'm excited about that because I love podcasting and it is part of my YouTube journey. And so excited about that. Now, if we go down this next graph here, this is the watch hours by type averaged per video, and then the number of videos in each category. So you can see the sample size that I'm working with on each of these. So I have a really good sample size for clips, podcast episodes, and fireside chats. You can see that clips really are not doing all that hot right now. I am pivoting towards longer clips. They seem to perform better, so I'll be doing more of those and seeing how those work. So stay tuned for a future video on that. Subscribe if that's something you're interested in checking out later on. All right, podcast episodes, 1.7 watch hours per video, and then fireside chats is 1.678. So fireside chats are not too far behind, but they are a little bit behind to podcasts, which are dominating. Now that we have a breakdown of the categories, I'm going to do it by time. So short, medium, and long. You can see here that the total number of watch hours, we've got 57% for long. Short is actually doing 24%, and then medium is 17%. Now, if we average it by number of videos in that category, we get a different picture. We get long videos, 1.8 watch hours per video, and then for medium, we get 1.719. So the short, on an average basis, it tends to drop in its effectiveness, and then medium goes up because of the number of videos per category. So that's an interesting insight. And then we can look at that in a bar graph here. So we've got short, medium, and long. Podcast episodes were the winner during this challenge, and they're all going to be longer. If we break this into sub watch groups, I've got 0 to 1 minute, 1 to 5 minutes, and I have the length of the video broken down by every 5 minutes up to 60 minutes, and then 60 to 90 minutes, and then 90 minutes and up. You can see how many videos are in each of these groupings and then how well they performed. On a per video basis, 15 to 20 minutes is actually doing the best. And then we've got 30 to 35 is about on par with 60 to 90, but 60 to 90 includes, that's a 30-minute range as opposed to the other ranges are 5. So these last two, we got to put them in the proper place since they are a larger grouping. And there's also more videos in that one as well. 5 to 20 minutes seems to be a good place. And then 25 to 40 minutes is also another good place. Let's look at new videos. We're going to dive into just the videos that I published during the challenge. There was 103 videos, so about 80 videos that are from a previous period of time that were creating watch hours during this window. So we're going to slice it to just the challenge window. We had 82 watch hours that came just from new videos during the challenge. Now that's 108 hours total minus 82. So we're looking at about 26 watch hours from older stuff and 82 from newer stuff. Most of the watch hours came from the newer stuff, which puts us at an average of 3.734 watch hours per video published during the challenge. You can see here on terms of the type, podcast episode is still doing the heavy lifting. Fireside chat is at 42%, and then podcast episode, which is the yellow side, is at 56%. And if we average it per video, it does better. So podcast episodes are doing 63% of the watch hours during this challenge. And that's pretty incredible because I really want to get my watch hours up for podcast episodes, and I've somehow figured out a way to do it. So there's some lessons to be learned there. If we go by duration for new videos, we can see that they're about the same, but we're going to look at the average on the right here. So long videos are getting 50%, and then medium are getting 35%. Now let's look at it in our subcategory, their sub time segments. 60 and 90 and 90 plus are both doing well, 7 watch hours per video. But below that, we got 15 to 20 minutes, 5 watch hours. So that 15 to 20 minute window seems to be pretty good. And that seems to be a pattern, like 15 to 20 minute long videos seem to do well on YouTube. All right, number of videos in each grouping. You can see I got a bunch in this one, and I've got a bunch in 10 to 15, but I've only got 2 in the 15 to 20. So it is a smaller sample size. Let's look at the insights from fireside chats, and then we'll look at podcast episodes. We're going to split these up. So fireside chat videos, this is all of them, not just the new ones, but all of them, and then we'll look at just new ones. So all the fireside chat videos that got watch hours during the challenge, doesn't mean they were published during it, but they got it. You can see that medium did well. When we average it per video, it did 62% and then 37%. So it actually does better on an average as compared to the total amount. And then when we break it down into subgroupings, we can see that fireside chats do best in the 15 to 20 minute range. And then we get some good traction in the 25 to 35 range, and then 5 to 15 also as well. Let's look at just new fireside chat videos that were published during the challenge. So we got 12 videos, 34 watch hours. So it puts us about 2.9 watch hours per fireside chat video. And we can see that on an average basis, 65% watch hours for medium, and then 34% for short. But I had more short videos, so it ended up producing more in a total amount. Now, if we do it into subcategories, we can see here that 15 to 20 minutes just barely ekes out against 5 to 10 minutes for new fireside chat videos. So that's an interesting development that's going to help this 5 to 10 grouping in the future when we look at data across the whole year. But we got 5 videos in the 10 to 15 window, so that's what I tend to produce. Let's look at podcast episodes. This is all podcast episodes that got any watch hours during the challenge. And you can see 99% of them were long. If we group it into smaller segments, we can see 60 to 90 is getting most of it. and then 90 plus, but 55 to 60 is getting a good amount, and then 45 to 50. Again, we've got a lot in the 60 to 90 window here. All right, so let's look at just new podcast episodes. These are just the podcast episodes I published during the challenge. I got 7 of them, 46 watch hours, and that's 6.6 watch hours per episode. So that's pretty incredible because the podcast episodes are pretty simple. A lot of them, depending on which type it is, but for the inspirational people interviews, those are pretty simple. They'll listen to learn, and the book discussions, those require a little bit more time to prepare for them. But if I'm getting 6.6 watch hours per video, like that's pretty good for my track record. I need to get it up even higher for moving towards monetization. But when you look at my history in previous videos, I'm moving up. And so I'm getting more and more average watch hours per video, which is great. If we break it into time windows, we've got 90 minutes and plus is doing 7.3, and then 60 to 90 is getting 7.12, and then 55 to 60 is getting 3 hours. Having it longer is, if I get people to watch it, particularly people that have some kind of a relationship or connection to the person I'm interviewing, more likely to watch all of it or a large amount of it. So having longer episodes is going to really help in those cases. 5 episodes in the 60 to 90 range, 1 episode in the 90 plus, and then 1 episode in the 55 to 60. I did do 1 clip, but it's not worth looking at any of the data. This is the overall 103 watch hours during the challenge. 82.152 of those watch hours came from new videos. To give you a little context, my average watch hours in 2024 was 15 to 25. 82 watch hours is a lot of watch hours for me. In January of this year, I got 60 watch hours. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my YouTube analytics so you can see some of this data in there, and then we're going to look at some of the top performing videos and see what is going on there. This is total watch hours per year, and this is just videos, so it excludes shorts. In 2020, I had 206, and then cut it around there for a few years. In 2024, I had 241. You can see in 2025, I've already got 557 watch hours. I'm moving along great. I've more than doubled my watch hours for all of last year, and we're just 3.5 months into 2025. At 557 for the year, I'm between 1,500 and 2,000 watch hours for 2025 if I keep up my current pace. That's pretty awesome. I need to get 4,000 watch hours to hit monetization, and so I'm falling short, but I'm moving in the right direction. This is watch hours per month, so you can see pretty low, and then boom, September, October, November. So December I hit 40. January, I hit 61, and then February was my biggest month. I hit over 237. And then March, I was not quite able to get to the same level. I got 183 watch hours. And then we're 18 days into April, and I'm at 75. So I'm probably going to be 100 and something at my current pace, unless some of my videos stick out. I'm not planning on that, but if I can get 150, I would be pretty happy with that for April. If we look at just the window of the challenge, between March 24th and April 18th, those are the days I published the videos. You can see how the activity was. It was between 2.78 and 8.33, fluctuating between there. And you can see the 108 here. If we do weekly, so it was pretty flatlined. It was 25 a week, the 35 week in there. I'm happy with that result. Here are the videos. This is the most popular video. It was Hope in the Shadow of Tyranny with the art pastor Steve Thomason. It had 17.3 watch hours, which is great. I consider 17 a level 2 hit. Between 5 and 15 watch hours, I consider that a level 1 hit. And then if it's over 15 hours, then consider that a level 2 hit. It had 5 level 1 hits and 1 level 2 hit, which is great. I'm happy with that progress. This is a YouTube fireside chat video I did talking about cowardice and courage and the type of person that a tyrant fears. This is a simple video I did that 2 types of entrepreneurs, 5 minutes, and it was quite a hit. It got 351 views. That was the #1 viewed video, but it was shorter, so it only got 9 watch hours. I've got Stop Pandering and Start Living. This is a podcast interview, another podcast interview with Benjamin Crenshaw. My friend did a Share Life Academy workshop on communication, and that had 5 watch hours. Those are the top videos, and they're the ones that help me carry over to the 108 hours. In 4 weeks, 108 hours, I'll take it. 80% of it being from new videos. YouTube likes new videos. And so keep making videos if you want to keep your watch hours going. Now, if you join this challenge with me, congratulations for participating. Even if you weren't able to do a new video every weekday, if this challenge helped you move beyond what you were doing before the challenge, then that's a success. I think of this as a way to push us outside our comfort zone and to help us to do more than we would have without the challenge. And if it helped you do that, it helped you increase your skills, your experience, your capacity, if it helped you get outside of your comfort zone, do something new, I consider that a success. And if you didn't participate in the challenge, go back to my video on the YouTube Weekday Challenge, watch it, and then start your challenge now. You don't have to have done it at the same time as me. Do it again. And if you want me to join you, I'll participate with you. We'll put together another timeline and we'll do it again as a group. Post in the comments if you want to do that. For me, I posted more video, fireside chat videos and podcast episodes in this period of time. So I ramped up my production. I'd done a lot of clips before, and that was a lot of the videos that I did. So I wanted to get away from clips and do these other videos and see what kind of difference that would make in terms of allocating that time. So I'm very grateful they pushed beyond that part of what I was doing before into doing something new. I did my first product review video, and I got another one in the works, way outside of my normal topics, but it's something for me to experiment with, test it. If no one watches it, that's fine, but it gives me opportunities to try something new. I traveled out of town for a week, and I created some videos, recorded them before I left town. So I had some in the hopper, but I did have to do one of them while I was traveling. That was an experiment to shoot something on my parents' property in their backyard to get the last video that I needed. That was another thing that pushed me outside of what I would normally do. I did a more sophisticated storytelling with my lighting setups. I have a really interesting intro and recorded different videos of me building, putting the lighting in and wiring it and doing all these things. A very unconventional setup that I have here, but lots of different editing and techniques and approaches. And it pushed me outside of what I normally did to do something a little bit more sophisticated with my editing. I also approached my March YouTube analytics videos different. Instead of bundling it all into one video, I broke it up into a couple different pieces. It wasn't as successful as I was hoping it would be. There's a bit of a momentum to do a video like this where I'm talking about the analytics. When it's bundled together, it's more motivating to produce the video, to record it, edit it, and publish it. I ended up doing several of the pieces, but then there were other pieces that I just didn't get to. I didn't do them, and I may not get to them, or I might just put them in the next one. And so there is an interesting momentum factor in terms of producing the video that I hadn't expected or thought about in terms of breaking it up into pieces. So it might be better to do the full length video and then do some clips instead if I'm going to break it up into pieces. I also am happy to report that I published my first sponsored video. It's the one about being a digital nomad, how to have location independence as an entrepreneur and live anywhere in the world and work wherever you are and live in different parts of the world. That was my first episode that got sponsored this year. I have had 2 YouTube videos or podcast episodes that have been sponsored since I've been doing this since 2020. This was my second one. I've doubled the amount of sponsorships I've had. Look forward to getting more of those as time progresses. I recorded my first comedy satire video. It's why you should not start a YouTube channel even if everyone watches, which if you're in this YouTube growth community, you've seen those videos where people say why you should start a YouTube channel even if nobody watches. I had this idea to flip the script and then make it a comedy after the challenge was over. That was the first video I published, and we'll see what happens and what kind of success I have. Maybe there'll be more of those in the future. Those are some of the first time new things, interesting things. I want to share with you 11 lessons that I've learned from this YouTube challenge. I'm going to start with the first one. Lesson number 1, when you're doing a challenge, get ahead of the schedule. This can be true whether you're doing a challenge or not, or whether you have a schedule of YouTube videos where you're just trying to do 1 or 2 or 3 a week. Whatever your situation is, but particularly if you're doing a challenge, you want to get ahead of the schedule. Record and edit enough videos so that you have some in the hopper. When I wrote my book, Path of the Freelancer, I have this idea called the water tower. And the water tower is essentially a financial buffer because freelancing has ups and downs. And sometimes you're making a lot of money and sometimes you're not. But if you have enough savings, the savings can be a buffer for the ups and downs so that your life doesn't go up and down. It's a safety net or a cushion. And the same thing applies when it comes to producing a lot of YouTube videos. Create a cushion. If you're trying to complete a challenge or produce a certain number of videos, that will give you enough margin that when you have disruptions in your life, you can keep the YouTube videos coming out. If you don't, then you can get ahead. And if you get too much ahead, you can just publish more videos that week or that day. If you're traveling and you want videos to keep coming out, if you're participating in a challenge and you're about to travel, you need to at least get the videos done before you leave, or get enough of them done that if you're going to do any while you're traveling, you can you're not having to do so many that it's overwhelmingly unrealistic. Lesson number 2, publishing a large number of videos will help you get those harder videos out. One of the things I noticed is by doing the challenge, I was trying to produce a lot of videos, and I tended to want to do the easier ones because it was easier to shoot them, edit them, and put them out there. But I had that video, that lighting video, where I talk about my unconventional setup, and I wired all these lights, these recessed lights in my office here. And I had about half of the video done, but I needed to get the other half done. And so I got to the point where a lot of the easy videos were done, and then I have this half finished video, or I can start a new video. And it was actually a little bit easier to just finish the half finished video than to do a new one. So if you have a challenge, it could be a way to help get those videos that are stuck, help them get unstuck. So even if you only do a 1 week challenge or a 2 week challenge, if you've got some stuck videos, think about doing a challenge to help you dislodge them. Lesson number 3, producing a large number of videos will sustain and increase your morale. Because if I only publish one video for the entire year and it flopped, it failed, that would be very demotivating. That's the idea with creating a lot of videos or publishing a lot of videos. Having more videos gives you more chances to have a hit, to have success, to have watch hour growth towards monetization. Or if you're already monetized, to make money. If you drop 3 videos, 2 don't do anything, and the third one starts to get traction, then it's exciting. I don't care so much about the 2 that didn't get as much because the third one is getting traction. When I think about producing and publishing a lot of videos, in this case 22 videos in 4 weeks, I always seem to have some videos that were doing something at one point or another. It helped keep me motivated as I was recording videos and publishing. You don't want to be in a situation where you've got a video that dropped and it doesn't do anything, and now you're feeling demoralized and disappointed, and now you got to shoot your next videos. Lesson number 4, thumbnails don't always perform as you would expect them to. I had one video that what are the 2 types of entrepreneurs, and I put 2 thumbnails that are the style that I've been doing for most of my videos, which is a simple photo with a large text, call out 2 or 3, 4 words. And in that video, I took a screenshot of one of the frames in the video itself where I'm reading a quote, and the quote's on the screen, and it's smaller text and there's more of it. And that was the thumbnail. I did a thumbnail test for that video. And that was the thumbnail that got traction. Out of the 3 options, it was the one I thought would be least likely to get any traction, and it generated the most watch hours. When you run an experiment, you learn sometimes the thing you think will work most likely, or the thing you think will not work. Sometimes it's the opposite. The thing you don't expect happens, and the things you expect don't happen. Lesson number 5, different types of video than you normally do don't seem to get the same type of traction than the normal videos. I did a lot of experimenting in this challenge, and I produced several videos, a product review video, I did my comedy video, I did a fictional teaser video for a short story that I wrote. I did several different videos that were different than what I've been normally doing, and they didn't get much traction. The lesson there is that if you do something different than you normally do, you might not get traction. And so if you're wanting to go down those roads, you need to think about doing it in a way that you keep doing it. You keep doing the new stuff so that it's no longer new. I think what happens is YouTube will grow the audience that it tests your videos with, or it'll find different audiences. And then I think subsequent videos that are in that same vein will get more traction. The key lesson there is be persistent. If you're going to do something new, it may not work out right away, but if you're persistent with it, I think that it will. And that's been my experience just as a YouTuber. Think of it like a rocket going into space. You have to have an escape velocity to get outside of the atmosphere into space so you can fly freely. That's how it feels like with YouTube. Your whole channel, you're trying to break out, but even within the subtopics, you got to break out as well. And the more persistent you are at the different topics, the more you can break out in each one of them. It allows you to have multiple niches, multiple topics and areas, and different audiences for those. But you have to be persistent in those areas. If you try something new and you don't get a hit and you don't want to do it again, that's probably a good indication maybe you should just stay away from that type of video or that topic. But if you really care about it or something you're really interested in, then just keep doing it until you break the atmospheric barrier. Lesson number 6. If you streamline your process, you can publish more videos than you could have without streamlining your process. To do a podcast episodes, I have to schedule it. There's a bit of communication I've got to do via email, usually, sometimes text message, with either the person or the person representing the person that I'm going to be interviewing. And then I've got to record it, and then I go through the normal steps of the production process. But what I did is I streamlined my process for making the scheduling faster and easier and communicating with some templates. And now when I go through that process, it's much faster, more streamlined, and it requires less of my time and less of me altogether. That makes my life easier. I've saved time by streamlining the process, and then I'm using that time to record more episodes, which then allows me to publish more episodes. If there are ways you can accelerate that process or standardize things so that it's easier for you to do, that can make a big difference in the volume of videos that you want to produce for your channel. Lesson number 7, the videos you care most about, the videos you really put time and love into, those are the videos that are most likely to disappoint you. They're the videos that you invest in the most, but might have the least amount of return. So like I mentioned with my lighting video, I put in all this effort and all this energy, and it hardly got any traction. I thought it was a great video. I hope someday it gets more traction. But for now, it's just living in the dustbins of my archives. And I put in so much into it that I'm sad and disappointed. But, that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you're going to do that and it's not going to go the way you want. One of the lessons there is being open to having that type of disappointment and recognizing that's just part of it. You might have that one that's really disappoints you. But I think one way to kind of get around that is to test the idea. So do several videos about that idea in a simpler form and see what kind of traction you get. And if you get a video that does get traction, then do another one and invest a little bit more in it. And then do another one, invest a little bit more. One way to think about it is just to progress towards that video where you really put all these things into it. But you've also tested the idea enough that by the time you get to the point where you put a lot into it, it's more likely to succeed. And hopefully you'll have less disappointments when you do that. On the flip side, simple videos can take off. So I mentioned that video earlier, 2 types of entrepreneurs. That was a simple video like this, talking to the camera, 5 minutes long, almost 0 editing. Publish it on YouTube and it gets the most views and gets like 10 watch hours. So it was one of my top 5. Simple can work. And if you got the right message, the right idea, and you share it and there's enough people that want to take that message in, then it can be powerful. And that's a big thing of what I'm doing. I'm leaning into simplicity and I'm going to do a lot of simple videos and move towards that monetization in that way. And then I'll do other stuff around the edges, experiment and stuff. But I'm going to keep it simple as much as I can and not try to overcomplicate it because I'm trying to minimize those disappointing videos. And then when I am monetized and I have more room and upside and opportunity, then I can experiment. And I feel like that'll give me more resources to do that kind of thing. Lesson number 10, use YouTube to give people that are asking you for advice. So I had someone reach out to me about podcasting. They had some questions about it. I said, here's what I'm going to do. Instead of responding to this email with the answer to your questions, I'm going to record a YouTube video and I'll answer all your questions. And I'll throw in a couple other ones that I think would be worth talking about as well. And so I did a video about that. And then I sent him the video. And that's just a great way to come up with an idea for a video because you have at least one person that's going to watch the video. And then if they've given you the questions, you've got the agenda, you answered the questions to those things. That was a good video and it got a little bit of traction. Now, if someone asks me questions, that'll be my go-to is I'll just record a video answering them and then I'll send them the video. I've got leverage because I can share that video with as many people as possible and many other people will benefit from it. And lesson number 11, the last one. So I mentioned I did this new comedy video. When I'm using my iPhone, which I recorded most of the video using my iPhone, I have this microphone. This is a wireless one and it plugs into my phone. There's a little fuzzy thing that goes on the end here. And normally I thought, oh, this is good to use when you're outdoors. But when you're indoors, you don't need it. But what I learned in the comedy video, if you're watching it, you might hear when I'm getting more emotional and yelling and loud, there's multiple me's that are talking to each other. But when I'm one of the versions, I don't have the little hairy thing because I was trying to make it visually look different as many ways as I could. So you knew it was a different person. But by not having the little fuzzy thing, when I'm talking loud or using emotion, my air is moving faster and it goes into the microphone and creates kind of this staticky, flat effect that makes the audio not as great. My recommendation is if you have the fuzzy thing and you're doing something where you're going to be louder, make sure to use it. That's a little thing I learned. There's a couple other little things I learned from that comedy skit that when I do the next one, I'll know ahead of time. So when I record it, I can make it a little bit more streamlined and do some more cooler things that I was limited on. That's really the idea with YouTube is that you do a video, you learn a couple things, you apply it, then you do another video, you learn a couple things, and you just keep growing and changing until you get better and better and doing better and better videos. And you keep doing that and you'll hit tipping points where you have success. And I've hit those. I'm subscribers into this, so I'm fresh off the boat and moving towards this. but it took me 7 years to get to 68 subscribers, and in 4 months I'm at 235. So I see that as a huge success, and I've got a lot more room to grow and change. I'm not going to let my pride get in the way, and that's the idea of being humble. I've got a lot to learn, and I'm going to be a beginner all over again until I figure out some of these things. And I'm happy to share those with you. So hopefully it makes your journey a little bit less difficult than mine has been. What does this mean for me going forward? I did this challenge. I was doing one video every weekday at least. And so what am I going to do going forward? Well, I would like to actually maintain that schedule. For the normal kind of day-to-day thing, what I'm planning on doing is produce as many videos as I can and release them as they're ready. I'd like to at least be able to do one a day. Since I'm not having a challenge, I'll publish them as I do it. So if I have 2 videos in one day, I'll do that. Instead of publishing one today and one tomorrow, I'll publish them both right away. If I have 0 and I got a couple days where I don't have it, then that's fine. I'm going to keep doing a large volume, but I'm not going to stick to like cadence of 1 per day. Definitely want to keep up the pace because I really want to get to the monetization hurdle as quickly as I possibly can. And then once I hit that point, then I might adjust my pacing. And if I find that the pacing isn't helping me or it's actually harming me, then I might pull back. We're in April now. The month's a little bit over halfway done. I got more videos that'll be coming out the rest of the month, and then I'll do another report video for the month of April and also looking at 2025 as a whole. If you want to see that, make sure you subscribe. I'll dive into the analytics and see what's working, what's not, and again, continue to adjust and move towards what's working best and away from what's not working. My name is Jason Scott Montoya. I appreciate you watching. If you have any thoughts, ideas, comments, share them below, and I'll see you on the next video.